Now I want to show you all this HL16 by Brinyte. It's a little headlamp. Comes with a clip installed on it. That was the first thing that I did with it when I took it out, is I went ahead and took that clip off. It's nice that they include it, but I just won't ever use it in the pocket. It's gonna be attached to this strap that they included with it. It's got some grooves in the flashlight itself right there, where that headlamp strap fits down in there perfectly. I really liked that. It's not sliding back and forth on you or anything like that. It comes with a little 16340 battery. There's some bigger headlamps out there that have bigger batteries and they last a little longer. But the nice thing about this little headlamp is you don't have a lot of weight on your head. It's got that little 16340 in there, and those are easy batteries to come by. It's not, let me double check before I say, yeah, it's not proprietary, so you should be able to get another one if you needed it. And once it's in the host, you can charge it up with the included cable. Magnetic, sticks right to it, and then USB. And I've been using this thing. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit dirty. Been using it around on the farm here, and I got about an hour's use out of it on high a few nights ago, and the little indicator in there does turn red when it needs to be recharged. And it was really nice. You didn't have to go fumbling for a port or anything like that. I came in back in the house, everybody was asleep, so I had this thing on Moonlight Mode. Came back in the house and was able to just slap it on and throw it on the charger. Didn't have to go looking for a port. Pretty handy, pretty nice little light. And what I really like is not a lot of weight. If I'm gonna have just a single housing unit on my head, I want it to be really small like this. If I'm gonna have a bigger battery, I'd prefer it to have the battery pack on the back, so that way it kind of distributes the weight around. That's just my personal preference. It's got this swivel head, so that way if you're taking it out of this, there is a magnet there. You can go ahead and stick it to some metal, and once you stick it to some metal, you can swivel it around, aim it where you need it. A lot of options, and that's pretty handy if you're out working on something. Let's go ahead and go through the use of it. You hold down on that button right there and it comes back on in the last mode that it was in. So it has memory mode, or it has memory. And once it's turned on, you go ahead and press to throttle through. There's the lowest mode, there's the Moonlight, and back on high. So you just have those 4 settings, and you hold down to turn it back off. At any time you need strobe, you just double press for strobe, and then it stays on in whatever mode it was in last. It's working really well. I do want to show you all the run times. I usually don't pull out these little manuals, but I wanted to show you all just so you know what you're dealing with on run times. On high, you got 1 hour and 5 minutes, and that's what I was saying a little bit ago. I really truly did get an hour out of it when it turned red and it was stepping down to medium. On medium, you get 1 hour and 40. On low, you get 4 hours and 50 minutes. That's pretty good. And on Moonlight, which you can see pretty well, I'm going to show you all tonight what it looks like on Moonlight. You get 80 hours. 80 hours is great. On the higher settings, you're not going to get all the way through the night, so it's just something that you need to know. If I'm using this thing, I'm going to be able to get away with on the low setting for almost 5 hours, and I can see well enough to do everything that I'm doing. I just had it on the high mode, on the highest mode a few nights ago, just to go ahead and run it and see if that 1 hour was true, and it really is. I like this strap. It's not sliding around. It's got a little bit of like rubber feel to it, And once I put it on, I don't have to put it on super tight and give myself a headache in order to keep it in place. I can put it on fairly loosely, and it's riding, doing everything that I'm doing, and I appreciate the quality that they put into this thing. I'm going to throw up some other lights right next to it just for size comparison, like I always do, just in case you have one of these other lights. You can kind of get an idea of what you're dealing with here. There's the Sofirn SP40, and I'll power these up tonight to give you an idea what they look like. And then next to it there, the Olight S1R2. We'll try all these out tonight and give you an idea what they look like. There's an 18350 in this SP40, and then that's a similar battery, but it's proprietary, so you have to go to Olight to get their batteries. Whereas with this Brinyte, pretty cool. You can go to a lot of different places to get that 16340. They did a good job on that. All right, cool. We're starting out in the lowest setting on the HL16 and shining a good distance away from the deck, 10 feet down into the yard. So that's pretty far. If you were walking, you'd obviously be down on the ground. And we're going to go ahead and step it up to now the highest level. That's how it throttles through. It goes from Moonlight, and that is a lot of light. So you could get away with that right there if you were walking a trail or something like that. And like we were saying, that's going to get you by a lot longer. Moonlight, that's going to be for some close-up detail, and I'll show you all that here in just a second. So got a lot of light on the highest setting. It just doesn't get you by all night. Now let's bring up the SP40 on high. And I was playing around with these before I started rolling the camera recording, and I noticed that the SP40, very comparable, just a different tint. So you have a more natural tint on the right there coming from the SP40. And then I hit it up to turbo, and it passes the HL16 by quite a bit. So you get a lot more light out of that SP40, a lot more lumen, I should say, than the amount that you're getting from the HL16. Okay, and just for reference, let's go ahead and bring up the S1R2, just in case y'all have one of these and you just need to know how it's going to look. So that S1R2 on turbo is also going to be a little bit brighter. Let's just get it a little bit more comparable. So a little bit more of a hot spot on the S1R2, whereas the HL16, as you can see, is a little bit more flood. You wind up having a really nice amount of flood for walking a trail or something like that. Alright, let's take it down to Moonlight Mode, and I'll show y'all what it looks like. Take this thing up close and show you what I was talking about. So in the lowest setting, no problem seeing to read or do some close-up work. That's pretty cool. Like I'm saying quite a few times, that'll get you through the night and let you get some close-in work done. So let's go back to the, while we got this here, go ahead and go back to what I was talking about. So there it is on lowest mode. you got 80 hours. Not bad at all. And then low, good enough to walk a trail, you got 4 hours, 50 minutes, almost 5 hours. Not bad for its size. There's some stuff out there with some 18650s and stuff like that, and you know, obviously they're going to last a lot longer, but you got more weight on your head. It helps if I focus it. There it is right there. That's going to go out for almost 5 hours. I can walk all night with that. Well, I can walk for 5 hours with that. Alright, cool. Appreciate y'all watching, and if you have any questions, let me know. Try to help you out.